We continue with the Subsecretary of Telecommunications in Bolivia. Once again, good morning, everyone. First, I want to thank the meeting organizers, and I also want to give a warm welcome to all the authorities, national and from different countries, to all the experts that are participating in this important meeting. Thank you. Let's recall that Bolivia, just 10 years ago, had extreme poverty indexes, the highest in the region. There were about 38%. And with respect to the digital divide, the indicators stated that the situation was critical, so much that internet coverage in the rural areas, it was pretty much 0% at this place. It's necessary to say that in order to turn this over, it was necessary that my country stated a new constitutional order to acknowledge the importance of telecommunications in the integral development of everything. We can say that in the world, the digital economy, it's in the process of becoming a reality. The Constitution in our country acknowledges telecommunications as a basic service of constitutional rights and universal access, where the state is responsible at all levels of the government to guarantee access. With this constitutional framework, we have developed new plans and programs that are destined to reduce the coverage gap. The plan for Social Development 2016-2020, that is the program for the government. We have denominated this as socialization. Set the goal, internet services to 100% of the places, to a population over 50 inhabitants, to provide mobile services to all of those places that had a population of over 50. All the regulations that came up were going to in this direction. The telecommunications law that creates the National Telecommunications Program with social inclusion, destined to finance projects of the deployment of infrastructure in the rural area and social interest. This program, in a program that was called Strategy for Telecommunications, defined 3 objectives with its respective strategies in order to reach objective 1, which is the coverage of telecommunications in places with over 50 citizens, inhabitants, and with the following strategies: to prioritize mobile access, the deployment of projects should be low cost, and also to start with broadband deployment in the rural areas. The strategic objective was to try to look at the deployment of these networks in such a way that the deployment is with harmony throughout the country, and with the strategies to prioritize those areas like Beni, Bando, Potosí, and Chunisac. And also to develop telecommunication projects that are low cost. The objective, the strategic objective number 3, is after looking for multi-sectorial synergies for all these projects to be sustainable. To see the dimension of the goal that we had, we can see in this graph what is the segment of places that reach this goal. In this slide, you can see the amount of population. We have 204 different locations with more than 2,000 inhabitants that are in the urban areas. Which is 17.6 of the total population. Here we can see the total objects of this telecommunications programs and social inclusion. With this is 60,272 places between 50 and 2,000 inhabitants, representing 30.3% of the population in Bolivia along the entire national territory. So our goal has this dimension. In order to reach this objective, we have developed and executed two projects that are important for us. One that is the satellite program, Tupac Katari, which has allowed us, first of all, to launch a telecommunications satellite called Tupac Katari. With this satellite, with this, we have been able to execute projects throughout national territory with all the advantages that the satellite can facilitate, with coverage throughout the territory, even in those areas of difficult access, with the deployment that is easy, that it would be easy because of the emergency that we had at that time. Likewise, we have been able to develop projects with the satellite bases, with the deployment of mobile telephony services, third generation, fourth generation. Another important program that has allowed us to reach these objectives is the National Telecommunication and Social Inclusion Programs. And as we have mentioned, a project that has the object of financing those projects of the deployment of infrastructure and telecommunications in areas of social interest and an investment that is not profitable. We can see this with the internet services provided, public telephone services, and basically we have a set of projects that allowed us with this financing with bring telecommunication, voice, and data through the different bases, mainly 3G and 4G. This program has financed projects that have brought internet to different communities through different media. We have seen different intermediate cities in national territory, this electronic kiosks that are some type of like ATM that basically provide the service for internet, and some other services of e-government. They can't pay for some of the services, electricity, and so on. And last, a project, an important project that makes this effort of taking the services of emphasizing broadband services, the implementation of a national network of fiber optics, with which we have seen the connection of we will see the connection of all the different capitals of the municipalities, an important number of places that are object of the broadband plan to the trunk line of the National Telecommunications Company, and which allows broadband services at this towns. Can we go to the next one? If we see the changes, the situation in the coverage, particularly in mobile services, with the different projects for the implementation of radio bases and mobile services. This graph has been segmented by municipality, and each municipality has really been seen with a different color depending on the percentage of coverage that it has. The municipalities that have a percentage of the 0 and 20% are there, and so on and so forth. And those municipalities and 20%, 20 and 40% in orange until they get to a deep green color where the municipalities have reached 80 to 60% of the states. And you can see that the situation has really changed substantially. And with the connectivity of fiber optics, with the different projects that are going to giving us broadband services that have financed projects that have allowed for the connection of broadband. These are projects that are in the third and last phase. They're going to allow for 340 capitals in the municipality and a total 120 intermediate places that are part of the broadband plan. And with this, we can provide broadband services through the satellite. We have seen that this has allowed us to take different projects of telecenters with satellite links, and we can see and this is pretty much the implementation of a normal telecenter. This is what we are looking into, and this is adapted with TV systems to see everything, public telephone services, and everything needed for a cyber cafe. And this has a device to cover mobile voice and internet services, and we have implemented in radio base with satellite linkage of UMTS third and fourth generation. And this has allowed us with these telecenters that are providing the internet services, internet, television, and so on and so forth. They can provide mobile services to the population in mobile telecommunication services and mobile internet. And as I said, there are pretty much 1,800 education units with the internet, high capacity internet. So you can perform your education activities and implementing an experimental amount of 200 electronic kiosks in different public places in these places where anybody can approach and have internet services, even television in their areas, and Wi-Fi services in order to have access to the internet service. Here we have a summary of the results reached through this project that were not set in the social economic development plan. Inside, we have been able to implement 670 volunteers, over 2,500 satellite telecenters with the characteristics that I have mentioned. places with the service of mobile telephone services, 13,176, 1,800 schools connected to the internet, and we have 6,884 places with third and fourth generation internet. We have 27,587 kilometers of fiber optics in 340 capitals in the municipality. Objective of the broadband plan. And we have all of this with the 13,176 that have mobile services and 6,884 towns with the internet. Some of them have both services, and we can say almost for sure that over 16,000 towns have coverage or either mobile telephone services, 3G, at least in the broadband internet. You can see this is a little bit 70% of our goals, because you can see that close to 16,000 or over 16,000 towns, and we are covering pretty much 70%. This is with respect to what we have been able to do and the coverage and technologies that have allowed us to reach those goals in the way that we have described. As of now, we have a new challenge that is also set in the new National Program for Social Economic Development for the next few years, where the same Pillar 2, the goal is a lot more ambitious, and we can see it in the government or presidential government plan, and is to reach 100% of all the citizens with telephone and internet services. So this is basically setting the conditions and the programs that are going to take us to reach that goal. Within the challenges that we have looking forward, and the next speakers are going to be talking about this, are different pillars that we're going to be managing in digital ecosystem. For this, we need to have full digital inclusion to close the gaps in access, also in access to the internet, emphasize in infrastructure that can support the services over fiber optics at all the capitals that have broadband internet, schools and hospitals to be connected mainly, for the development of digital public services. And last, that we can set a perspective towards the digital economy to cover the GDP with the use of new technologies to improve the capacity for the internationalization of our companies. I close now. This is a brief summary of what we have been able to do with respect to inclusion and connectivity and the technologies that we have used. I thank you for your time, and I'll see you. Thank you so much.